Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to Trackside, proudly brought to you by World Sports Betting. Bet with the best. Bet with WSB, a leader in the fixed odds betting market and number one, numero uno in the anti-post betting market as well. Well, it is going to be a busy show for Trackside, and why it's going to be a busy show? Obvious. It is the World Sports Betting Cape Met that takes place on Saturday at Kenilworth. It's a bumper afternoon. There is a spread on the betting menu for all punters with lots of carryovers, plenty to look forward to. And if you go onto the World Sports Betting website, well, you're spoiled for choice there. They got so many exotic bets that they've put up alongside, the usual betting for the day, but there's so much to choose from, and we are looking forward to the afternoon as well. So we're concentrating on World Sports Betting Cape Met Day. What's happening on the show? Let me just tell you quickly before we get the show started. We are going to do a 4 to follow for Saturday. That's 4 horses, and what I have done is that I've given them 2 bets, all 4 horses to place. And then I've picked 2 of the best that I think are the best of the 4 horses, and that will be up as a double. Then I'm going to go through a little preview, races 4 through to 9, give you a pick 6, that's the pick 6 legs, there's a carryover there. Estimated pool is 10 million rand. We'll give you a suggested pick 6, a guide for you to work around. Then we're going to go to the main race, which is race number 9, the World Sports Betting Cape Met. We'll give you 2 quartets there. One is a quartet that we're going to play hard and try to catch it with the minimum spend, and then we'll have a cover quartet as well. And then my selection for the World Sports Betting Cape Met, which I already gave last week, but we'll recap on that. And then we'll end off with a few specials that are being run by World Sports Betting. So away we go, guys. Busy show, as I mentioned, and let's begin with the horses to follow. Well, we're going to start early on the day, and we're hoping to bang some cash in race number 1, which is simply a maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1400 meters. There's lots of form to work around here with a few of the runners. Poet Moa is the filly that sets the standards on the form that she recommends. Looking at her recent form, she's had 7 starts for 6 places. Her last 2 runs, she's finished in the number 2 box. She's been close up, and one could say she's been unlucky as well. A horse like Everglades, the daughter of Gimme the Green Light, her last start she actually moved up to win it over that 1600 meter trip, and it's clear to see what happened in the closing stages of that race. It reported that she bled. She's been given some time off. She's been off for 2.5 months, and there'll be a question mark over her fitness. And of course, the obvious concern is, will she bleed again, which could affect her in the running. So those look to be 2 horses that demand the utmost respect. But the runner that we've gone for is Eliodora from Lucinda Woodruff stable. Now, Lucinda's done a top job with this horse, the way she's brought this filly along, the daughter of Jackson. First 2 starts over the sprint trip, and then last time out when they tried over 7 furlongs, there was money for her, there was good support for her, and she put in a creditable run. She was second best behind a horse called Black Path, and from that form line, which is looking good now, 4th in that race was Master Queen that has come out to win, and for all we know, and Little Miss Pink have come out to place as well. She'll have the run of the race from draw 1. She's got a usual jockey up in Greg Sheen, who knows the filly very, very well, and I think now that she's got the experience, she's stronger, she's maturing, and she looks like the value in the field. Number 4, Eliodora. So she is one of our horses that we've picked out to follow on World Sports Betting Cape Met Day, and it'll all begin in race number 1. And if she does arrive, well, what a start it will be at reasonable odds for number 4, Eliodora. We then move along to race number 2. Well, it's quick and fast. Imagine if this double has to arrive. We'll bank the cash and we'll have plenty to play with for the rest of the afternoon. Race number 2 is a maiden plate as well, over 1400 meters, and again There's a form to go around with a few of the runners. In particular, number 1, Steinbach, Justin Snaith's runner, who's got some solid form. And when you look at the way they've been placing him and the way they've been racing him in maiden company, he looks ready to put his best foot forward against this type of field, and he's no doubt the right horse at the top of betting boards and the one to beat. I got a little respect for number 2, Navy Strength, who's been slightly disappointing. He was gelded on the 29th of November. His last start was his first run as a gelding, and if you go back to Steinbach, he's in fact having his first run as a gelding, which could make a world of difference to him winning or running second, as he's been doing at his last 2 runs. But the runner that we've gone for on trackside is a runner that really caught the eye on debut. If you didn't watch that race, try and catch the replay, because he was just given an educational run first time out. That's the way I read it. Drawn 11 out of 11 at Kenilworth. He wasn't pushed early in the race by Grant van Niekerk. He was just left towards the back of the field, loafing around, turning the straight. Also, he was maybe second, third to last in that race. And he only started to get his mind on the job. Grant just got into him over the final 400 meters to see if he responds, and respond he did. He ran a decent race. He was under 3 lengths. He was beaten 4th. And considering the barrier position that he was in on debut, it's never easy at Kenilworth, debuting over 1400 meters from the worst of the draws. It's now a massive draw swing around for him. He's drawn pole position, and that last run, I'm certain, would have brought him on a ton. So there's plenty of scope for natural improvement to come from horse number 8, Gentleman Joe. And the key here is Grant van Niekerk, because if you look at Steinbach, you'll see Grant has partnered that horse twice. And then you go to Navy Strength, you'll see Grant has also partnered that horse once. So he knows the ability of his dangers in the race, Steinbach and Navy Strength, who are drawn just to the outside of him. He's drawn pole position. Steinbach's at 4, Navy Strength's at 2. So it's all going to be about tactics. I think he's not going to waste that position from the draw this time round. It could only go against him if he's slow away and then he's caught on the fence and horses are rushing around him to get a position, and then he has to lag back. But it'll then be plan B. But I can't see him wasting that position this time round, and I expect him to be in a more handier position turning into the straight, and hopefully from one run to the next he can put his act together and win for trackside. That's 8, Gentleman Joe, in race number 2. Then we move along to a horse that I found in race number 4, and it is the start of the Pick 6 Adwell. This is the Pinnacle Stakes. It's over 1400 meters, and when you look at the best weighted column, it's topped by Silver Operator and Russian Rock, joint at 117, then Warrior at 115, Speed Machine at 114, and Look for Hounds at 111 Nelson. The runners that look to be the principals, and we'll come and touch on them a bit more when we're doing that Pick 6 preview, but Russian Rock, Silver Operator, Warrior, they all look like the right horses in the race. But the runner that I found, and we're going to include in that place all to come, is at a very decent price, and his name is Look for Hound. He's trained by Vaughan Marshall. He'll be partnered by Richard Faree, and he's got 53.5 kgs on his back. Now, if you go through his form and look at his last 10 runs, well, he hasn't been this low in the weights in his last 10 runs. And he'll think he's loose on the course on Saturday, Look for Hounds. And he's got some pretty decent form to recommend as well. Last time out, it wasn't the worst of runs, considering he was drawn 10 out of 12. He was only beaten 2.5 lengths by Bush Tracker. His penultimate start, he won. Now, he's run 3 starts back, and I give Russian Rock a serious winning chance in this field. If you purely go on that run and have a look at the weight swing around against a horse like Russian Rock, he's now 7 kgs better off. Yes, he is. He was receiving a half a kg. He was beaten a half a length. He's now receiving 7.5 kgs. That's 7 kgs swing around in favor of number 8, Look for Hounds. And in the small field, at the time of recording the show, there was just one scratching horse, number 6, Pinkerton. So it's a field of 8 that go to post. I'm expecting a massive run from Look for Hounds here, and he'll be part of our all to come place race number 4, horse number 8, Look for Hounds. And then, if everything going according to plan, well, we'll have to wait for the penultimate race on the card. Yes, there are 12 races on World Sports Betting Cape Met, and we'll wait for race number 11. This is a merit-rated 84 handicap. The distance is 1400 meters, and if the other 3 have arrived, this could be a serious way to end off our day, because this horse is one of my better bets on the card. And when I had a look at the way he was being priced up, I think he represents all the value in this field. There's lots of form to work around, and you'd expect that in a B division handicap, bigger field, plenty of form to work around in the 12 runners that go to post. But the runner that I found is called Azapa. Andre Nel, Platinum Racing, and Grant van Niekerk again. Well, Grant does feature prominently in our horses to follow. And this horse, Azapa, the son of soft falling rain, last time out, it was a progress plate, and he ran second behind 7 Kia. All you need to see is the average rating of that race, which was a 95, and you could say he punched way above his weight that day as well, and ran to a much higher rating than the 84 that is suggested in black and white here. His penultimate start, who he ran for to, the runner that we like in race number 4, Look for Hounds. Creditable run, good run. But of his recent runs, the one run that really catches the eye is his third behind Pekaya. Now, Pekaya is one of the more fancied runners earlier on in the day in the Politician Stakes. In fact, he's been backed off the boards to favorite now, Pekaya. And I think that's purely because of his official merit rating, which is a 108, rather than the race rating that's printed in the race card. And that's for obvious reasons, because the weights came out before his run that was on Queen's Plate Day. So many are looking at that rating of 108 of Pekaya, and of course, this horse, giving him weight, ran third, beaten under 3 lengths. That was a cracking good run from him, number 1, Azapa. So in this type of field, even though carrying top weight of 60, judging him on that last start, where we know that the handicapper's hands are tied, being a plated race, and him running so close to 7th heaven, and in that progress plate with an average rating of 94, I think he's ahead of the handicapper with a rating of 84 here, and hopefully he can deliver smartly in race number 11 over that 1400 meter trip. And no doubt he represents a lot of value, Azapa, and I'm expecting him to pretty much win this. Although, as I stated at the top of the preview of this race, that it looks competitive, but he just sets the, he's got the right profile to get the job done. Number 1, Azapa. So that's our 4 to follow. What we're going to do, guys, we'll do the pick 6 as well, and we'll do the quartet for the main race, and then we'll come back and we'll recap on all the bets. So let's go to our pick 6 now, and that will begin in race number 4, guys. Race number 4, which will be 1350, and that's a 10 to 2. Look sharp, don't get caught napping. You don't want to be lost and blame it on time that you didn't get in your pick 6 on, because there is a carryover of 3 million rand. The estimated pool is 10 million, and wouldn't that be a good start to 2022 if you get a percentage of that? And who knows, you may be playing for 100%. Some guys even play the pick 6 times. It's all about structure. Okay, let's go to my pick 6 guide and pick 6 perm. We'll give you the cost as well at the end of the show when the slide comes up. The first leg of the pick 6, I've gone with 4 horses. 1 Russian Rock, Dean Kanemaya's runner. I think this horse is best over 14 and 1600 meters. The way he won and the way he was ridden 3 starts back to win, I think 10 out of 10 for the ride by Keegan DeMello. That was a superb effort. He has to be respected in this type of field. Number 1 Russian Rock. Of course, he was last year's Guineas winner as well, where he beat a star-studded field. If I can recall, horses like Linebacker and Jet Dark and Goedspreid, even a horse like Malmoes were behind him in last year's Guineas. So the talent is there, the ability is there. He has to go in. Number 2, Silver Operator. The one stat that catches your eye when you have a look at him in black and white is that he's 4 from 4 over the course and distance. He is a specialist over 1400 meters at Kenilworth. He's nicely drawn at 2. He'll be an obvious choice for many. Warrior, what happened last time out? I don't know. Well, all I can say is that you just have to ignore that run. He's far better than that. We all know that. You can't judge him on that poor effort. He just was never in the race at any stage of the game. Yes, it was a Group 1 Queen's Plate, one of the premier weight for age races in the country. But he could never run, last, beaten 11 lengths, just eased out of it by jockey Anton Marcus. We'll judge him on his previous form, and on his previous form, he demands the utmost respect. And again, he's got Grant Finike up, and Grant's got some wonderful rides on the day, and I think the son of Futura has to go into the Pick 6. And then look for hounds, who we touched on during that 4 to follow. He gets my vote for the Pick 6, and if he has to arrive in the first leg of the Pick 6, it's already a decent dividend, because tickets will fall if Look for Hounds has to win in leg number 1. So here we've gone 1, 2, 4, and 8. Then on to race number 5. This is the Summer Juvenile Stakes over 1,000 meters, and this is an absolute nightmare for obvious reason. Where do we begin? There's weight turnarounds in the race. There's fillies taking on colts, receiving their sex allowance. It's just all over the place with the form. Some horses receiving 3 kgs from horses that beat them on their previous starts. And then you got horses that are improving at different rates. You hear it all the time. These horses are precocious. Some of them are just more forward than others. Others could be going backwards. Others could be leaping forward. So it's very tough for Pick 6 players. And I'm sure many will be taking the stance. And just to be guaranteed of going through, if you found a banker, you're going short in other legs, that you could possibly include the field here. But I've narrowed it down, and I've gone with the rule that I follow. If it's more than half the field, then it is the field. So there's 13 runners go to post, and I've included 6 horses. So we're going to go with the 6 runners, because that's less than half the field. And the 6 runners, I'm just going to go in a numerical order. Number 2, Street Law. Number 4, Pacific Green. Number 8, Cousin Casey. Number 11, Where Jamin. And then I've included 10, Pure Maverick, and 13, Bonica as well. So my top 4 in no particular order will be 2, 4, 8, and 11, and then you can use those numbers maybe if you're playing a bar pot or a Pick 6, 2, 4, 8, and 11, and then for the Pick 6 I've added 10 and 13 alongside those 4 numbers. And if I'm pushed for a selection here, if you're looking for a roving banker, the runner that I think should finish in the top 3 or the top 4 is horse number 8, Cousin Casey, Glenn Cotson's runner, with Louis Mkotla up. Number 8, Cousin Casey, will be my top choice there. But we'll come and recap on those numbers. But it does look to be a very tricky race, of course, that's expected with the juveniles. Race number 6 is the Politician Stakes. It's a Group 3 over 1,800 meters. And here I've managed to narrow my selections down. It's 11 runners that go to post. The horse that definitely sets the standard looks to be Pakaya, Justin Snate's runner, who took his place in the Lomarans Queen's Plate after his run in the Guineas, where you could say it was a disappointing run as well, finishing 6 lengths behind Double Superlative. There were hard luck stories for a few of the runners in the race, and he was certainly one of them as well, Pakaya. And then when he took his place in the Lomarans Queen's Place, he was thrown in the deep end. He was beaten under 4 lengths by Jet Dark, but just the way he raced that day, suggesting that it was a tremendous run from the 3-year-old behind Jet Dark. And his official rating is a 108. I say official rating, guys, because if you are on the fence on what the horse ran to, and especially if it's not official in the printed book because the weights were out prior to him having that run, then there's a simple way of doing it. All you need to do is go to the NHA website, the National Horse Racing Authority website. You go to racing information, you scroll down, Just click on merit rating, and all the horses will come up there, and it's quite a fascinating page to look at, because you can click on age and play around. You can click on sex and play around it. You can click on province as well, and you can click on the merit rating. You can go from the highest to the lowest to the highest, and there's a search engine there as well. And what you can do is you put in Pekaya in that search engine, and you'll see it comes up with an official rating of a 108, and some could argue that he actually ran much better than a 108, considering there were horses that plus 120, horses that were in the 130s that were in front of him, and also horses that were in the 120s and above his rating that were behind him as well. So he could have achieved a much higher rating than that, but his official rating is a 108, and I can see why the support has come for him during the course of the week since betting opened, that this is the horse that's attracted betting support. Because if you're going to judge him on that run, on his Guineas run, he's 3 kgs better off at the weights with horses that have finished in front of him. And on his last start, well, he should be carrying 60 kgs here, because he should be a 108. But we have to give him his airtime, because he's a horse that's attracted a lot of betting support. He's the talking horse on the day, Pekaya, and I'm sure punters will be looking towards him as a possible banker in the pick 6 as well. But what I've done here is that on that Guineas run, there were definitely horses that beat him, and I'm going to go with the horses that finished in front of him and include them in the pick 6. Number 1, Zapatellis. Number 2, Never Ending Rain. So what have we done there? We've gone 1, and of course number 3, Universal, from the stable of Adam Marcus. And there were lots of hard luck stories in that Guineas, but World Sports Betting Group 1 Guineas, should I say. And we're going to go with those 4 horses, 1, 2, 3 and 6. But Pekaya does set the standard in the race. But if you get him beat, I think those other 3 horses that we have provide good cover in the pick 6 there as well. And then we move along to the Cape Flying Championship. It's over 1,000 meters, and this is a Group 1. And in these weight for age races, the guide, and usually the best guide, is the best weighted column, and that is topped by Rio Carrari at 130, Boica at 125, True to Life at 120, Casimir at 119, and Hello Winter Hello at 119. But when you look at the betting, a horse that's not featured in the best weighted column is one of the top 2 in the betting, and that's number 4, Real Gone Kid, and of course number 1, Rio Carrari, deserves his position at the top of betting boards. But Real Gone Kid, why isn't he higher than a 111? Many may be asking that question, because purely on these ratings, he can't beat Rio Carrari. But I just think he's been cleverly placed by his trainer Brett Crawford, and I say cleverly placed because when you look at the way he's been winning in plated races at his last 3 starts, he's been winning exceptionally well. And the key is, trying to take care of your horse. And I think Brett Crawford has done an exceptional job taking care of this horse, because there is a cap on how you can be penalized in condition races and plated races. And that's what's been happening with this horse, because it's clear to see that he actually beat Rio Carrari at his penultimate start, and of course Rio Carrari is a 130 and he's a 111. So those ratings are all something that's used as a guide. It's not cast in stone. It's for you to make up your mind and for you to be the judge. But in this race of the pick 6, we're going to include number 1, Rio Carrari, number 4, Real Gone Kid, the obvious choice, the top 2 in the betting. They'll be the popular choices for many that will be playing this pick 6 on World Sports Betting Cape Met Day, and they'll be hoping for a form result here as well. But I can tell you the speed's going to be on. Real Gone Kid is quick, but there are some speedsters in the race here, and we got a visitor from Kobeja as well called Stranger Danger, who's very, very quick. Pleased to meet you is quick on his day. Boica's got speed, and there's a few others as well. So how is Anton Marcus going to play this one out? I think only the race will tell. They've gone with the blinkers again, and Rio Carrari know that he's going to be setting off the pace, middle, maybe to second half of the field, and he's just got a deadly turn of foot. The quicker they go over this 5 furlong, the better it's going to suit number 1, Real Gone Kid. The pick 6 this leg, 1 and 4, the obvious horses, but I've gone with the cover here. I'm not going to say I'm not entirely convinced and costing you more in this perm, but I've just gone with the cover. If there is going to be a result, it could come from anywhere. But the runner that I think that could help if numbers 1 and 4 get beat, Ria Karari and Real Gone Kid, could be number 12, Hello Winter Hello, who's had back-to-back wins in Gauteng, and no stranger she is to conditions and racing at Kenilworth. In fact, when with Adam Marcus, she won 5 times there, and there is some serious form lines that she represents as well if you go back in her form. But she's back at Kenilworth, and she could represent good backup for the top 2 in the betting. So there we're going to go 1, 4 and 12. And then we're on to the Mallorca Stakes over 1600 meters, and here, well, the horse that sets the standard, a superstar. What a win from her in the Paddock Stakes. I was on the fence on how she's going to perform over 1800 meters. Well, we know she was going to perform well. Let me rephrase that. I was on the fence whether she could win over 1800 meters. We always know she's going to run her heart out and she's going to perform her best. But what a win from her. Gutsy performance, showing her class. And now she's back to what is arguably her favorite distance, 1600 meters, and she's well clear in the best weighted column, number 1, Captain's Ransom. Many will be looking towards her to continue her winning ways and be a banker again in the pick 6. I'm playing for a result here, and I've gone with just 2 other horses to back her up. Number 3, Princess Kala, and a very talented filly called Chansonet, the winner of the World Sports Betting Fillies Guineas, and of course running an absolute blinder, confirming that run, beating Desert Miracle with a run that she could have won. That was the Paddock Stakes. She really ran a close-up second to Captain's Ransom. She looks like she is going places. Number 8, Chansonet. So there will be 1, 3 and 8 there. And then it is the main event of the day, the World Sports Betting Cape Met over 2000 meters. And in this race, we're going to go with the 4 that top the betting. Play it safe. If you're running in the pick 6 here, you don't want to be short with excluding one of the more fancied runners in the race. I had a look at it. I wanted to actually include 2 runners, and I'll give you the 2 runners that I wanted to include. My top choice, who I declared on last week's show, is Double Superlative, the 3-year-old unknown taking on the older horses. And of course, my first choice prior to me changing was Linebacker. So I just wanted to include those 2 horses in the pick 6, Linebacker and Double Superlative. But then I said no. I mean, imagine if you're running in the pick 6 and you're getting into the last leg and you haven't included the other 2 runners that are so fancied by their respective stables, and then you just feel like, wow, I just threw this pick 6 away. So I've included all 4 runners. Number 4, Jet Dark, 5, Cometidang, 6, Linebacker, and of course number 11, Double Superlative. So those will be the 4 runners that I've included in the pick 6 there, 4, 5, 6 and 11. And really nice to see the dual Vodacom Durban July winner do it again, take his place. The dual Queen's Plate winner, Jet Dark, in there, Cometidang, the current title holder of the Vodacom Durban July, Linebacker, the winner of the Daily News and the Derby as a 3-year-old, and of course Double Superlative, going for a double for the sponsor, World Sports Betting, winning the World Sports Betting Group 1 Guineas, and now trying to do a double for the sponsor here, 11, Double Superlative. He is a horse that's very highly rated by his jockey Anton Marcus. Yes, you give him no chance on his current rating. He's unexposed against these older horses, but he's achieved this rating on what he's done against his own age group. He now takes on the older horses. He could be anything. He could be something really special, number 11, Double Superlative. And he comes in, as I mentioned on last week's show, with fresh legs, taking on these older horses. We'll see how good he is. and he carries 54 kgs on his back. 11 double superlative, who is my top choice in this year's World Sports Betting Cape Met. So those are the 4 runners there, and then we'll do the quartet now before we go to the slide and recap on the betting. The quartet numbers that I've included here are simple, the way I've played it, because I've just got a different style. I'm sure many of you have your way of playing quartets. I like to choose horses for first, second, third, and fourth in order of the way I assess the race. My top fancies for first and second, and it's played wider for third and fourth. What I've done here is that in that quartet I've gone 4, 5, 6, and 11. That's 4 Jet Dark, 5 Cometidin, 6 Linebacker, and 11 Double Superlative. 4, 5, 6, and 11 for first. Bar 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11. That's Marina included for second. Bar 1, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11, including Do It Again for third. Bar 1, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11 for fourth as well. That's the quartet that we're playing hard in. So that quartet will be 4 horses by 5 horses by 2, 4, 6 horses for third, and 6 horses for fourth. And then the cover quartet will be 4, 5, 6, and 11. That being 4 Jet Dark, 5 Cometidin, 6 Linebacker, and 11 Double Superlative. By 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11 by the field and by the field. And that perm will come up now. I think let's go to that slide now and just recap on all the bets. We'll start off with our 4 to follow, and what I have done is put up an all to come place bet on the World Sports Betting Cape Met Day, and the 4 horses with the all to come place will be race number 1, Eliodora, race number 2, Gentleman's Joe. Then we move along to race number 4, which is Look for Hounds, and then we go to race number 11, which is Azapa. I think that will be the all to come place bet, which should be good value. And then the 2 horses that I felt look to be the best of my 4 runners. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping I'm right. Race number 2, Gentleman's Joe, and race number 11, Azapa, and that double will be up on the World Sports Betting menu as well. It is a win double, race 2, Gentleman Joe, race 11, Azapa. Now let's recap on that pick 6. First leg, 1, 2, 4, and 8, by 2, 4, 8, 10, and 11, and 13, by 1, 2, 3, and 6, by 1, 4, 11, and 12, by 1, 3, and 8, by 4, 5, 6, and 11. And that spend, and I didn't plan this, guys, that spend is 3, 4, 5, and 6, 3,456 Rand. Of course, you can play a percentage of that, 10%, we'll call it 350 Rand. And then it is a World Sports Betting Cape Met, which is a massive quartet that's expected in that race. I think the estimated pool there will be 2 million Rand. I'll give it 2 quartets. We'll recap on them: 4, 5, 6, and 11, by 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11, by 1, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11 for third and fourth. That spend is 192 Rand, which will give it to you 1 time. And then the cover quartet will be 4, 5, 6, and 11, by 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11. And then we are hoping for the worst result for third and fourth, field by the field, and that spend is 1,152 Rand. Of course, we'll call it, let's call it, 116 Rand. 116 Rand will be 10% there. So 1,152 Rand, a full bet there. And then my selection for this year's World Sports Betting Cape Met is the 3-year-old. I'm hoping he's as good as they say he is. I'm hoping he can show his class and run an absolute blinder against the older horses who set the standard, no doubt about that. It is Double Superlative. Now, guys, we got all that up. What else is happening? I just want to go to the World Sports Betting menu and then maybe just go through the betting with you. But I think first up, let's just go to some of the specials that are on offer. And the big special is the Met Deposit Match promotion. What that basically means is that if you deposit up to 100,000 Rand, you will get 20% back in free bets, and this is valid until the 31st of January. So up to 100,000 Rand, guys, 20,000 in free bets. And why not? If you haven't opened up an account yet, open it up with the best in the business. That's World Sports Betting, and you guarantee 20% of your money back in free bets.